Women are losing out on tens of thousands of pounds of employer pension contributions because of the gender pay gap. That's according to research published today. It found out that last year, men under the age of 35 received £217 more in pension contributions than women of the same age. And over the last 4 years, employer contributions amounted to £3,495 for men, but only £2,489 for women. That could result in a shortfall of £47,000 for female employees by the time they retire. Well, Rose St Louis is head of partnerships at Zurich Insurance. It commissioned the survey, which looked at more than 250,000 pension plans. So, Rose, how do you arrive at those figures? What was the methodology?
Yeah, so it was a significant piece of research that we did, and as you said, we looked at 250,000 pension plans over a 4-year period, so between 2013 and 2016. And as you said, our findings were that women will have £47,000 less in their pension pots based on employer contributions compared to their male counterparts. So quite a significant figure.
I mean, the quite scary thing about this is that you're not taking into account investment returns. This is purely employer contributions.
That's absolutely correct. There's no consideration for investment returns at all. So we've just looked at average earnings index. We've taken that figure of £217, used it for an individual, a woman aged 21, rolled that through her working career and assumed a retirement age of 63. So with no other factor taken into consideration, it's £47,000.
Now, as said in the introduction there, it's down to the gender gap. But, I mean, are there other factors as well? I mean, potentially, women having career breaks to have babies, for example. What's the biggest single contributor to this shortfall?
That's right, and there are a number of contributors. We've highlighted 3, the first of which is the gender pay gap. So, men earn 18% more than women, fact. So as a result of making contributions into a pension, in a pounds and pence perspective, they'll have more going in than a woman will have. You alluded to women taking career breaks. So when they're out of the workplace, because they might be looking after a family, for that whole period of time, they're not actually making pension contributions. Equally, they're not capturing employer pension contributions as well. But when they go back to the workplace, that all resumes again, but they may not go back to the workplace, or equally they may choose to work flexibly.
Quite, yeah. I mean, could this improve over time? I mean, there is a lot of there's some evidence that the gender pay gap is starting to decline. I mean, is this a problem that will rectify itself over time, do you feel?
There is evidence that the gap is starting to close. I think a recent piece of research a couple of weeks ago said that it was certainly for under 30s, but that's around men taking, the research showed that men were taking lower paid jobs or part-time work. So it's not that women are getting paid more, it's that men that are choosing to take that less. So that's that piece of research. More importantly, there is a gap and we can't wait for that gap to close. Action needs to be taken. And what the research has shown is that there are a number of areas where we can take some action, but it's clearly identified that there are gaps and we need to take.
So what do you think should happen then? What are these actions that need taking?
Sure. So first of all, we think there's a big piece of work to do around financial education for women specifically, so they can go to their employees and understand what's available to them from their pension schemes. How much can they contribute? What will be matched by their employer? If they pay more, how much more will match? So that's really, really important to understand that. Equally, women can use their financial advisors or their existing insurance companies and pension providers to use their tools to find out how they want their retirement to look and to model and project for that. But on the other side, there's a piece of work to do around lobbying government. So from a workplace perspective and auto-enrolment, there's a threshold of £10,000 where individuals don't automatically fall into the pension scheme.